Clearing that throat. Clearing that throat. Hey, everybody, welcome into the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every day, round about this time, noon, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery, located in Dallas's fabulous design district. We are RadioMisfits.com. A lot of spit in my mouth right now. Well, what's going on with that? That was weird. I'm like doing this thing live from RadioMisfits.com. We are Radio Misfits Dallas. There you go. Every day we gather here around about noon, and I go through a list of hot topics, current events, headlines, all the things that people are talking about. What I'm doing here is a version of talk radio, the kind of talk radio you used to hear all the time. The kind of talk radio that doesn't give a shit how you voted. The kind of talk radio where you shouldn't care how I voted. And you know what? I'm not telling you, because I believe that we should all bond over things other than our political partisanship or what team we root for. So this is an experiment, 3 years in the making now. 3 years we've been doing this, talk radio in a different way. Nobody's noticed. Not a goddamn person has noticed. But we're still doing it because that's what we do. Because we believe that people like talk radio, not political partisan radio, or every topic's got to be about how the president sucks or this person. It's so boring. There's so much more that we can talk about. So that's what we try to do here. We gather together all of the news stories. Sometimes it's political, but I don't really do it, I think, in a particularly partisan way. Although, I don't like either of these people very much. So look, I'm sorry. Sometimes I can't control my ire, but now I got to tighten the microphone again. This is happening every day. There's in the Kelly Moore Memorial Studio. I would absolutely believe that Kelly is a poltergeist and she is loosening my microphone. You know why? Because she used to tell me that I'm going to break the microphone. I think Ed Silla has also told me this, but I have a habit of when I'm talking of hanging onto the microphone and pulling it. So I think she loosens it every night. Those of you who don't know, Kelly was my former partner. She died recently, and we're all still very upset about it. But hey, life goes on. We do current events. We give you 4 quarters of show. I break it down into 4 quarters because with no commercial breaks, no music, no crosstalk conversation, this show is a stream of consciousness. It's just me talking about the day. And in order to stay, within the boundaries of that, because a stream of consciousness, I could end up talking about, making Kool-Aid with your hand. We can get off into the weeds on shit when it's just me streaming my thoughts. So we try to keep it confined within the parameters of 4 quarters, four defined quarters. The first one is a look back at the history of this day. We take a look at the things that have marked our understanding of what this day has meant in time, in memoriam, as Tony Soprano might say. Quarter 2 is birthdays. We go through a quick list of people having birthdays today. We talk about them. Are they cool? Do they suck? That's what we do. Quarter 3, deads. This is fun. We get to act like gods. We look at people who died on this day and we decide where they go, heaven or hell. That's what we do. Quarter 4 is all the hot topics, current events, trends, headlines. Your hurricane talk, your Israel talk, your Bob Woodward talk, your Vince McMahon's in trouble talk, your the Jets suck talk, all of that stuff, everything else that people are talking about. They're going to charge us more for lottery tickets now, and we're all going to just line up for it because there's a chance I could be rich. We're going to talk about all that. We'll get into all of it. Let's say hi to the chat room. We got Chris, Sports Browse. When do you guys record, Chris? What day do you guys record? Peter's here. Peter's one of the fabulous 15. All right, everybody, cheese it. The boss is here. The boss is lurking. Ed's here. We got, who else do we got? We got Whitney. We got Jeff. We got all the regulars. Everybody's here. It's hot as balls here in the beautiful E-Gallery. The E-Gallery. Here's what's going on, and I completely get it. For some reason, the air conditioning is only half working here at the E-Gallery, which typically, if this were to occur in any other business in this country around October, you wouldn't worry about it because you're like, well, we're not going to need air conditioning for the next 7 months. Unfortunately, this is Texas, Dallas, Texas to be exact, and it's probably going to be 100 tomorrow, so it is a little hot. But we're just going to ride this out. Worry about come on, it's not a big deal. It's October, for crying out loud. I can handle it being a little bit hot, but how hot is it? Let's see. What is it outside? Because it's probably going to be about 10 degrees hotter in here than it is outside. It is currently outside here in Dallas. It says it's 78 degrees. It says it's freaking gorgeous. That's the temperature in heaven. You want to hear the forecast for heaven when you die? Here it is. It's sunny, partly cloudy, big Simpsons clouds, big white, beautiful clouds. That's the temperature in heaven, is 78 degrees with Simpsons clouds and partly sunny skies. Because of the Simpsons clouds. I mean, it's nice outside. That's what we got out there. In here, it's like we're boiling crawfish. But we will survive. Let's see. What else do we need to get into? I think that's it. I think we can just start rolling today on the show. I don't really have a small talk segment. I don't have a small talk segment when 5 minutes before we start doing the show, I go, hey, what's my small talk segment? I say this to myself. I say, what's my small talk segment? And then the answer is, well, what about that thing with the homeless guy? And then I answer myself by saying, we did that like 2 weeks ago. That means there is no small talk. Ed Silla's in the chat room because Ed Silla and I, we're going to start a soap podcast. We're going to a retrospective of the TV show Soap. Can't wait. Haven't been so excited over something since, well, actually, this is a very exciting one because I've been rewatching Soap. Very Gen X. Right now, I'm just really only, because I haven't even told you what Soap is. It was a TV show in the 1970s. It was groundbreaking. It was very controversial. It sought to be as provocative as hell, and it was on ABC at 8 o'clock, Tuesday nights. Don't even know if that's when it was on. I think it was, something like that. Soap. I've been rewatching it. Ed's been rewatching it, and we're like, we should do a podcast about this show, because it's crazy. It really is. It really is. What else? Do I have anything else that I want to talk about? I'm trying to say, you know what I'm watching? I'm trying to rewatch. I told you over the weekend I scared my kid. My kid's 15 years old. He's good at football, so there's a chance he could go to college playing football. He's good at it, and he's big and stuff. So, but we have these fantasy conversations, and he revealed to me over the weekend that he wanted to go to Florida. To which I said, look. Look, you should be so lucky if Florida offers you a full ride scholarship to play football. You should be so lucky, but let's not waste any Jesus juice, any prayers or anything on Florida, okay? Let's stay focused on Texas, UT. Let's stay focused on UT, Notre Dame, and SMU. That's it. Those are the ones we're focused on. Grades and then performance. Grades first. So we watched a bunch of Aaron Hernandez stuff, me and him, because I'm trying to scare him off Florida. It didn't work. He's just like, Florida seems fucking cool. I'm like, yeah, watch your mouth. So Aaron Hernandez. So I started watching that over the weekend, and that led me back into the Menendez brothers. Monster, the new Ryan Murphy series. Not new. Well, Ryan Murphy's got 2 series. He's doing the Aaron Hernandez thing. He's gaying that all up. That's what he does. He gays things up because he's gay, and he likes to be like, hey, you know who else is gay? And so he does that. And that's fine. It's fine. Here's what I object to with the Ryan Murphy sort of treatment of these shows. And I'm now watching side by side Aaron Hernandez and the Menendez brothers. And I'm like, this stuff is way gayer than I think these guys might have been in real life. I think the gay is being, and that's fine. Again, I'm just saying. And there's a lot of these like real gratuitous makeout scenes. Like there was a scene. Oh my God. I'm in like the second to last episode of Monster, the Menendez brothers dramatic depiction series. And and there's like this scene where the Menendez brothers are like in a shower together, and they're doing it in the shower. Like these 2 brothers. I never heard this before, but I don't know what this is. And then it's not even an actual scene. It's just a lie that someone told, like a possible defense. So Ryan Murphy had to depict these 2 really hot. They're like good-looking dudes. They're like good-looking actors playing the Menendezes, and then Ryan Murphy has to show them like in a shower, a steamy shower. It made me feel uncomfortable as a heterosexual. Maybe you were uncomfortable because you're not heterosexual. See, that's schizophrenic me. He's a dick. No. And as I always say with these things, I don't like normal romantic subplots. So I don't feel I'm homophobic. I don't feel it's homophobic of me to resist Ryan Murphy's gratuitous, long-form, ballet-esque gay makeout sessions. For me to resist, because I would resist that with a guy and a girl too. I don't like the romantic subplots. Although after I realized that the whole shower scene, that wasn't even something that really happened. That was just something that was floated as a possible defense or a motive for killing. That's what it was. It was presented as a possible motive for killing the parents, that the mom caught the two boys in the shower together. And it wasn't even accepted as a real motive. They didn't even use it, but yet Brian Murphy depicted it for a minute of screen time. I'm like, oh, look, there's more dicks. More dicks. We got more dicks on TV in 2024 than I think ever before. Ryan Murphy providing 100% more dicks. It's good though. It's good. It's pretty good. I'm pretty well sucked into the whole Menendez. I'm fascinated by the story. There you go. Small talk. All right. Hi, Leslie C. Leslie C. checking into the chat room. We got Nina in the chat room. Let's see. People just having conversations. Mikey D's here. Hey, Mikey D. All right. Looks like a short chat room. Why are we so short? Because it's 12. We're always short. People don't show up. Like, I see the highest listening like 45 minutes into the show. I don't know why that is. I could probably figure it out if I thought about it, but I don't know. All right, what do you say? Let's get started. It is the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. It is the 8th day of October, year of our Lord, 2024. There are 284 days remaining. There are 284 days past. See, I always do this. I get on a roll and I just say the wrong thing. We've been through 282 days. We've got 84 left until the end of the year. All right, here we go. Let's do 4 quarters, as I promised. The first quarter that we like to do is a little thing called Antecedently on This Day. It's just a look back at history, that's all. What happened on this day? Antecedently on this day, 1871 is the year. The Great Chicago Fire. And it also says, and the Great Michigan Fires. But, oh, shut up, Michigan. You're always trying to take our glory. The Great Chicago Fire occurred on this day in 1871. Legend would have you believe that it was Mrs. O'Leary's cow. Oh, my God. She was horrible. They hated Mrs. O'Leary. You know why they hated her? Because she was an Irish immigrant, and worse, in 1871, she was a widow. Get her! Get the widow! Why? Because she doesn't have a man to protect her? What the fuck? Are you supposed to protect widows? Isn't that... Anyway, that was like a scarlet letter back then. And after the fire burned down all of the city that pretty much existed at that time, the fire just swept through it, burned everything. It jumped the river. Crazy. When it jumped the river, people on the north side were like, fuck! But Mrs. O'Leary's cow didn't kick over a lantern. That's not what happened. You want to know what really happened? I know what happened. We did this in college. We studied this and we did a mock trial and everything. It's Peg Leg Sullivan. You need to Google search Peg Leg Sullivan. That's the dude who burnt down the city of Chicago. Peg Leg Sullivan, he only had one leg. I don't know, like Civil War maybe? I don't know, but he lost a leg and he's walking around with, hell, back then could have been bear attacks. Who knows? Anything was possible in 1871. Peg Leg Sullivan is gambling and smoking and drinking in the barn where Mrs. O'Leary's cow was, because it's a barn. Like, the cow is supposed to be there. Peg Leg and his rummy loser friends, they had no business being there. And apparently Peg Leg Sullivan knocked over a lantern that caused the city to burn. Peg Leg Sullivan, not Mrs. O'Leary's cow. That cow lived in that barn forever around lanterns. It never kicked over the lantern, okay? Stop it, Peg Leg Sullivan. Here's the good thing about the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. For the actual city of Chicago, it was a godsend because Chicago was a flash city. Chicago exploded with the railroads and with the shipping and, through the Great Lakes regions and all that. It was nothing. It was like an Indian trader village. And then all of a sudden they went railroads and boom, it exploded. And it exploded too fast. And there was no rhyme or reason to the city. The city was laid out and growing exponentially. It was chaos, kind of like New York. You ever been to New York? New York is chaos. Same with Boston. The same thing that had ruined all of the East Coast cities with their expansion and their chaos had happened to Chicago. And then in 1871, all that shit burned down and new people came in and they went, we've got a blank canvas. We can actually design a city. And people like Burnham and Sullivan, not Pegleg Sullivan, different Sullivan. A bunch of these guys came in and they designed the world's best city, Chicago. And what do you mean? Because you're biased? No, it's because I'm biased, but also because everything is on the block system. You can't get lost in Chicago. All streets are north or south or east or west, and it's a block system. You say the corner of this street and this street, and it's a block system. It is so easy. There is zero. And then numbers north of zero are the north side. And then numbers south of zero are the south. It's easy. It's simple. And then there's a couple of crazy streets. There's like 3 crazy streets that go diagonally across the block system. But they're okay because there's only 3 of them. Anyway, on this day, 1871, the Great Chicago Fire. Antecedently on this day in 1956, the New York Yankees' Don Larson pitches the only perfect game in World Series history. Big moment for my grandpa. I wasn't there when it happened, but my grandpa told me about it. Yeah, you'll never see. You'll never see. And I don't think he has. I don't think there's been a perfect game in a World Series since then. So maybe he was right. On this day, 1956, Don Larson pitches the only perfect game in World Series history. Was there another perfect? I would think this would be updated. You know what? I have such great confidence in this source that had someone since thrown a perfect game in a World Series, it would say Don Larson throws the first, right? But it doesn't say that. Antecedently on this day in 1982, after its London premiere, Cats opens on Broadway and runs for nearly 18 years before closing on September 10th, 2000. Fuck Cats, man. Fuck that. You guys ever have to sit through that garbage? Oh my God. I saw Cats, I don't know, what year are we talking? Mid-90s, mid-late 90s. I don't know. It was the Broadway company, not the touring company. It was, well, I guess maybe it would have at this point been the touring company because if it was still running on Broadway, because, yeah, it closed in 2000 and this was the mid-2000s. Whatever. It was, it wasn't a dumbed-down version of Cats. It was like the official Broadway. It sucked. It didn't matter. It sucked. Oh, my God. I saw it with my wife at the time. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Now that I'm thinking about it, no, I didn't. But she wasn't my wife at the time, so I wasn't cheating on her. It was a different person that I saw Cats with. It was awful. That is so dumb. I hate Cats. I'm sorry. I know I might be in the. I don't like Cats. What does Adam love Cats? Is Adam now gonna be like, dude, Cats is great? All right, let me read. Adam says, dude, Cats is the worst piece of art I've ever seen. There you go. All right. Me and Adam, look at us. Me and Adam, look at us. Yeah, Cats is awful, man. Oh, Mama B. Look at Mama B. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. Mama B's got, oh, God. Who's that? Mama B in the chat room saying, hello, please send good thoughts to Florida. My granddaughter, an essential ICU nurse. She's got to stay there. She's in harm's way. Mama B, how you got a granddaughter who's like got an important job like that? What is going on with you, Mama B? Who is this? This isn't one of Tom's. Is this from the, oh my God. I don't want to give out any family stuff. I don't know. Anyway, we will absolutely do that, Mama B. Mama B and I, we go back. We go back 14 years old, probably. That's what I'd say. Wait, Mama B, Christy and Bub aren't down there, are they? Or is it because it's got to be their kids. If it's your granddaughter, I don't think it's Tom's. Is it Tom's? It's not Tom's. God, I don't even know how many kids my friends have. Marriages and remarriages and blended families. Shelby. Oh, my goodness. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll keep our good thoughts out there. Absolutely. They're going to be fine. She's going to be fine. I don't know about the other people. She's locked up in a hospital. She's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. She's going to be saving lives. She's going to be taking care of people. She's going to be taking care of dummies selflessly. She'll be risking her life taking care of dummies who didn't get out. Or maybe, let's choose to be optimists, she'll be risking her life taking care of injured first responders that's the way I choose to think about it. That's a scary thing that's going on down there. That's, just only because, we're never going to say the word Helene again. Helene is like the opening act, right? They're the band that opens for the Rolling Stones, and you're like, oh, they were so good. And then the Stones play, and then you never mention the opening act again when talking about the concert. That's what this Milton is looking to be. Helene, everybody fell all over themselves with Helene. Trump made it a huge part of his campaign. The whole, whatever he's saying. I don't know. I don't listen to that guy. But you know what my point is. And now Milton is going to come through. It's going to be bad. We'll get into it. We'll look at the track and all of that stuff. All right, back to antecedently on this day. Antecedently on this day in I'm sorry, that was Cats. Cats sucks. Adam and I agree. Cats is awful. Cats is dumb. Rum-tum-tug this. That's what I say. Antecedently, on this day in the year 2001, George W. Bush announces the establishment of the Office of Homeland Security. The most bloated, bureaucratic bullshit slush fund ever created. The Department of Homeland Security. Tom Ridge, first director of Homeland Security. I know the first guy, and the current guy's name I can't even pronounce. Can't even pronounce. Mayorkas, is that his name? Alejandro Mayorkas. Is he the head of Homeland Security? Here's what Homeland Security is. Homeland Security was a thing that was created in the days that followed the 9/11 attacks. I mean, look, 2001, okay? September 11th, less than a month ago, September 11th had happened. And they're like, we need a whole new multi-$100 billion bureaucratic bloated mess. By the way, just so we know, it was conservative Republicans who did that. It was George W. Bush and his people. Department of Homeland Security was created because in the days following 9/11, we realized, and worse enough, the people inside the rooms that need to know this shit, they realized that they weren't talking to each other. They realized that the FBI didn't share evidence with the CIA and the NSA didn't share evidence with anybody. It was a big old mess. All of our intelligence, 9/11 happened because our intelligence people didn't talk. They were too competitive. They were at each other's throats trying to get, in the good graces of the regime or whatever. It's garbage. So the solution was, let's create another one that no one will talk to, but when no one talks to anyone anymore, we at least now have someone to blame. And that's what the Department of Homeland Security is. It is absolute garbage. One of these presidents ought to run on getting rid of that. But you can't get rid of that because getting rid of that will cause whoever the opponent is to go, they don't care about the security. Homeland Security. They want to end Homeland Security. Defund Homeland Security. That just sounds bad. It plays bad. It really plays bad for stupid people who like, what? Homeland? What do they do? What they do is flush our tax dollars down the toilet. They don't need to exist. They never existed before. We have a bloated intelligence apparatus in this country, and yet we decided they're like a cabinet for all of the information. Everybody's supposed to put their information in there. Anyway, it made us all feel better when suddenly we had a new division. Jeff Ballard's calling it the unconstitutional Homeland Security. It's ridiculous. It is a ridiculous waste of our money, but hey, it made people feel better, and All right, Department of Homeland Security was formed on this day in the year 2001. On this day in 2014, Thomas Eric Duncan, the first person in the United States to be diagnosed with Ebola, died. Remember this? 2014. Remember that? Hey, Dallas, remember this? 2014, when you guys almost gave the whole country Ebola? My God, I was in Chicago. I was in Chicago watching this, and I'm looking at, I'm watching CNN and MSNBC, and I'm seeing them all like out in front of the funky apartments where this dude had Ebola, and I'm like, oh shit, that's by Top Golf. That's that's over by North Park. That's over by North Park. I know where that is. Isn't that like, what do they call that? Like Highland Falls or something over there. Vickery Meadows, isn't that the general name for the neighborhood? So this dude, here's how this went down. Remember this guy? I mean, it scared the whole country, man. We had kept Ebola out of this country, and then suddenly Dallas lets a dude in. So this dude was in like Africa-Kistan, I don't know where, like Iberia, one of these countries that next month is going to have a different name, so why even bother learning it? He's in one of these countries, and he's a driver. He's a professional driver, and one of the dudes that he drives for, his daughter got sick with Ebola. And so the driver, he drove her to the hospital there in, Africa, Ebola-stan. He drives her to the hospital, and then he immediately gets on a plane and coming to America. Wow, wow, just visiting. We'll come. And they have defenses in place for people coming from those areas in Africa who have Ebola. I mean, they don't just let you on the plane. They ask you if you have Ebola or not. And he was asked that question, and he said, "I do not have Ebola, so he coming to America." That's it. That was the whole defense. Do you have Ebola? I do not have Ebola. Come on through. Come out. That was it. Because what? Because apparently, when outbreaks happen in these places and the government decides, hey, let's not let people in from those places. There's a whole bunch of people in this country who goes, no, that's racism. No, it's not. It's called a response to a terrible, terrible possible pandemic. Anyway, this guy got to come in. He ends up at like some chick's house. He's like hanging with some chick over there in Vickery Meadows. And like 3 days later, he starts to get sick. So they take him over to Presby. Over there. It's like, isn't that on Royal or something somewhere? I don't know where it is. It's somewhere off there. Northwest Highway, wherever it is. They take him over there, and they send him home. They're like, yeah, we don't know. You're just sick. They didn't give him an Ebola test, and they didn't ask him, hey, dude, with the really thick African accent who's showing these really bizarre signs that we don't know, did you just come here from Africa? They never asked him that. Had they asked him that, he would have been quarantined, and they'd give him a whole bunch of other tests. But in this case, they just said, you got a tummy ache, and they sent him home. Like a day later, he's like full-blown Ebola in the apartment complex. He's diarrheaing, he's vomiting. They take him back to the hospital, and he dies. He gone from the Ebola. That's when everybody freaked out, and everything got shut down, and there were 2 nurses. Like a nice little 25-year-old nurse, she got it, but she got a big payday, though. The hospital paid her. Because the hospital didn't, come on, man. You bring a dude into the emergency room, and he talks like, the guy from Coming to America, you remember the Eddie Murphy movie? And he talks like that, and he's got explosive diarrhea. You do an Ebola test. That would be racist. Why are you doing an Ebola test? Just because he has an accent and came from Africa? Yeah, that's exactly why. That's racist. I don't think we define racism the same way. Sorry. Anyway, it was on this day, the Ebola guy. Adam Reyna in Lower Gale. The nurse, Nina Pham, lived 1 block from me. Was that her name, Nina Pham? Where'd she come from? What kind of name is that? See, now that's racist. Now that's an example of racism. Not, hey, dude, who sounds like you just got off a plane from somewhere in Africa that doesn't have really great testing for these kinds of diseases. They didn't do that. Lake Highlands, Chuckles says. Yeah, is that it over there? Is that like I know it's Vickery is like the larger area, but doesn't it bump her up against like Lake Highlands? I don't know, somewhere over there. Let's see. What else do we have here? So it was on this day. Thomas Eric Duncan, he's the first person in the United States to be diagnosed with Ebola. He died after nobody asked him about anything, and they sent him home. On this day in 2023, 1 year ago today, the Israeli-Hamas war is declared following the Hamas attacks of October the 7th. There you have it. All right, very good. Let's do birthdays now. That's everything that you need to know about today. Let's move into people who are celebrating birthdays. Let's decide if they're cool or if they're jerks. We call it, they say it's their birthday, because I have no way of knowing if it's truly their birthday. These are just published reports. Born on this day in 1939, Garai. Paul Hogan, ladies and gentlemen, Crocodile Dundee. Paul Hogan. Paul Hogan. I had a friend. She was like a high school girl back then. She thought he was hot. Wasn't he like 50? She was like 16, 17 when that movie came out. She's like, Paul Hogan is hot. And I'll never forget. I mean, I didn't. Is Paul Hogan an attractive man? I don't know. Was he kind of a sex symbol? I don't know. Anyway, that's what I always think. I always think when I think of Paul Hogan, I think of her saying he was hot and me going, huh, really? That's kind of weird. Good eye, Paul Hogan, born on this day in 1939. Born on this day in 1941, Jesse Jackson. I'm a Chicagoan, so I'm getting more, you know what I mean? Like I remember, like years before Jesse Jackson became someone that was nationally known, like in the 1980s. If you grew up in Chicago, you knew who he was. He invented cancel culture. Yeah, didn't invent it. He organized cancel culture. That's what Operation Push was. Operation Push is the organization that he founded in the 1980s. It was a offshoot of the Rainbow Coalition, I think. I think the Rainbow Coalition was first in Operation. Maybe Operation Push was first, and Rainbow Coalition was second. I'm not sure, but he was the guy that invented the idea of putting 300 protesters in front of your business if you didn't do what he asked you to do. And I think he was asking. I don't know what was he asking for. Happy birthday, Jesse Jackson. I know that, like, technically he's like, we want them to hire more black people, but he was asking for other things that really didn't get. I don't know what the world. I don't know what the greater nation thinks when they see Jesse Jackson, but I'm a Chicagoan, and we remember. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying, not a saint. Not a saint. Born on this day in 1941, Jesse Jackson. Born on this day in 1943. Here's another dude that's not a saint. Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase, born on this day. Here's something interesting. Is Chevy Chase his real name? And the reason I ask is because Chevy Chase is a town in Maryland. No, that is not his real name. Chevy Chase is not his real name. His real name is Cornelius Crane Chase, nicknamed Chevy. I don't know where they get Chevy from Cornelius. He could have very easily been Corny Chase. Oh my God. Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase, born on this day in 1943. He's a dick. He got real famous real quick and went to his head, and he was kind of a jerk. And for years, he was like difficult and an asshole and all that stuff. But then there is a inner circle of people who have been with him for years and years, and they'll tell you, no, he doesn't like outsiders. He's just, if you don't know him, you don't know him. But if you do know him, he's okay. The entire cast of Community, I think, except for Joel McHale, they all seem to dislike Chevy Chase greatly. I have listened to numerous podcasts with the individual members. I've never heard Donald Glover really go off on Chevy Chase, but all the rest of them have, including Joel McHale. But I've also heard Joel McHale talk about how Chevy's just Chevy, and that whole thing. Whatever. Chevy Chase, there you go. Born on this day in 1943. You can't deny that, like the Fletch movies and The Vacation, you can't deny he's funny. He's hysterical. Pierce on Community was hysterical. He's hysterical. He's just, I guess, kind of a jerk. Chevy Chase, born on this day in 1943. Born on this day in 1949. Another Nepo baby. Sigourney Weaver, ladies and gentlemen. Sigourney Weaver. She's like Susan Sarandon to me. Remember the other day when we were like, is Susan Sarandon hot? And then we had to look at a whole bunch of pictures of Susan Sarandon when she was younger. And I think I came down on the side that she was, in fact, hot. Sigourney Weaver is kind of the same thing for me. She was like, was she hot? Was Sigourney Weaver hot? Aliens? I didn't think that was particularly hot. She looked like she needed a bath. She looked stinky. That was not hot. Ghostbusters, honestly, I think they could have done better. I think that if they really wanted to cast somebody who was, there were women in the 80s, actresses who you could have casted that I think would have conveyed that sexy leading lady role better than Sigourney Weaver. I don't know. Whatever. She seems okay. What else has she done? Has she done anything else that I like? I don't think so. Any cool name? Cool name. We'll give her that. Sigourney. That's a cool name. Weaver. She's a nepo baby. She didn't really have to work for anything. Her father, Pat Weaver, basically invented television. Father Pat Weaver was he in charge of NBC? I think he was in charge of NBC Studios, and all this shit. Anyway, Pat Weaver, big, huge, famous name, had a little silver spoon daughter who was raised in super elite circles, and she said, "Daddy, I want to be an actress." And lo and behold, she's Sigourney Weaver. She's great. Just saying. Your daddy being able to pick up a phone and saying, "Hey, my daughter wants to be in your movie," is a pretty good advantage. Sigourney Weaver, born on this day in, 1949. There you go. Born on this day in 1950, Robert Cool Bell. Kool and the Gang. She's fresh. Kool and the Gang. They're awesome. There would be no roller skating without Kool and the Gang. I believe that. I believe that there would have been no roller skating in the 1980s if not for Kool and the Gang. Kool and the Gang and Queen's Another One Bites the Dust. But really, that's it. If you've got a bunch of Kool and the Gang albums and you can play Another One Bites the Dust, and if you're couples, so I guess we also need Journey's Faithfully, or possibly REO Speedwagon's Keep On Loving You. But that's it. That's all you need for a roller skating party in 1984. Robert Cool Bell, born on this day in 1950. Born on this day in 1955, one of the weirdest people I've ever met, Darrell Hammond. Darrell Hammond of Saturday Night Live. He's weird. He was weird, man. I met him in the mid-90s. He was a member of Saturday Night Live. He came on to do our show, and he was just weird. He seemed like a very broken and fragile person, and he was very quiet, which was weird in and of itself because he was doing an interview with Kevin Matthews, who is an absolute genius, and he's also was a little bit like that, like a little bit quieter than you'd expect. So it was weird. But then they got together on the air, and it was insane. They just both were like, Darrell Hammond, very funny, but an odd duck. Born on this day in 1955. Born on this day in 1960, Reed Hastings. He's a guy that we didn't even know his name until like 5 years ago. Reed Hastings changed an innovator, disruptor, whatever you want to call it. He founded Netflix. He's the guy who, Netflix 15 years ago, Netflix was like, what? What's Netflix? Now everybody has Netflix. Everybody has Netflix, right? Or at least everybody has access to Netflix. Reed Hastings, born on this day in 1960. Born on this day in 1970, Matt Damon. Can we do a Matt Damon list? Should we do a Matt Damon draft? I don't know if that's good. I don't know if we need to do that. I think his Mars movie is overrated. Everybody's like, he's so good in that. What is Matt Damon good at? I think Good Will Hunting is overrated. I'm trying to think if I even like Matt Damon. I gotta say, maybe this is why I'm a weirdo. I'm partial to Affleck. I'm partial to the work of Affleck. We bought a zoo. I don't think so, Matt Damon. It's like, I want to like you. The Ocean's movies. Okay. All right. He's good in those, but I never saw the Bourne movies. What are you talking about? You've never seen the Bourne movies. Now they look stupid. They look like Americans trying to be James Bond. And I told you, if we're going to have an American James Bond, it's Jack Ryan. Tom Clancy went through all the work of creating the American James Bond. Don't give me this Matt Damon Bourne character. I'm not buying it. Born on this day in 1980, Nick the Love Cannon. There you are. Nick Cannon, 15 kids and counting. That might be a real number. I just made it up. That's how many kids he's got. I just made that number up. That might be low. I don't know. Nick Cannon, born on this day in 1980. Born on this day in 1985, Bruno Mars. I wish I had something to say about him. I wish I had. Nina's Aliens. Nina, are you saying that you thought that she was hot in Aliens? Because to me, like I said, she looked like she probably had Chick BO. Chick BO, a little different than Dude BO. Dude BO hits you in the face. Chick BO is a little bit more wafty. You catch it as she walks by you in the hallway, and you're like, ugh. Yeah, that's what I imagine Sigourney Weaver had in Aliens. Chick BO. She's hot in Heartbreakers. I don't know what Heartbreakers is. I don't know what that is. Is that a movie? I've never heard of Hot Heartbreak. I don't know. Is she hot? That's up to you, chat room. You decide. Sigourney Weaver, hot or not? Mikey D says Chevy was the drummer in a band in college and they didn't think he was that good, so they fired him. And the two remaining members went on to form the band Steely Dan. I knew that. I actually knew that, Mikey D. Good fun fact. Frankie B says that the first casualty of cancel culture was the Frito Bandito. How about it? How about it? What happened to the Frito Bandito? He was employed. He was employed as a bandito. No, he wasn't. He was an actor playing a bandit employed by the Frito-Lay company. Why did you cancel the Frito Bandito? Jeff Vellert says, how can you be a movie aficionado and not like the Bourne movies? Oh, I mean, I'll answer that as honestly as possible because I only like good movies, Jeff. That's why I don't watch stupid people movies. I don't immediately flock to the latest dad porn film that's on. Because I like fucking Tom Clancy movies. That's why. Not your stupid, childish Bourne bullshit. I like stuff based on real intelligence. Tom Clancy did the legwork. Watch the Jack Ryan films. I'm liking that I'm getting more and more comfortable with going as hard on Jeff as I do with old friends like Byron and Adam, who we go back years and years. Christina and Nina says she's good in Aliens. All right, well, we're not going to spend any more time on debating whether or not Sigourney Weaver's hot. I see that has really stoked a fire amongst you in the chat room, but we're going to move on. Let's do deaths. Here we go. People who died on this day. Where'd they go? Heaven or hell? The first person we're going to talk about here is another one of these goddamn spare presidents. Can't handle these guys. Who did we have the other day? The spare president that I tossed on the scrap heap of hell. It was Rutherford B. Hayes, wasn't it? What did he do? I don't know. Don't have a clue. He has a cool name, Rutherford. Franklin Pierce is today's spare president who will be banishing to hell. Why do we banish him to hell? Well, there are a few prerequisites that get you on your way to hell, okay? We will still consider if other details pop up, like, yeah, but he once saved a puppy in 1952. Okay, we'll factor that in, but there are a few things that if you start off with these, you're on your way to hell. And one is a politician. If you're a politician, you're on your way to hell. Coaches, football coaches, college football coaches, especially ones from the 70s and 80s, you're probably going to hell. We also know that all actresses go to hell, unless I can make a case for them not going to hell. Presidents certainly fall into the politician, so he's going to hell. I appreciate you liking that. Franklin Pierce, spare president, dead on this day in 1869. Excuse me, dead on this day in 1982, Fernando Lamas. Now, do you guys know? Okay, so you may not know who Fernando Lamas is. Fernando Lamas is the father of Lorenzo Lamas. Remember Lorenzo Lamas from Renegade? That show that was on in the middle of the night back in like the 80s? It was like on a weird spare channel, like a UHF channel, but it was Renegade. It was Lorenzo Lamas and some... I don't know, his sidekick couldn't afford a shirt, but he was there. He was like either Indian or Mexican, possibly even Hawaiian. I don't know. It was the 80s. They were letting us decide. But Fernando Lamas and this other dude, they were riding around on motorcycles. And I don't know what the premise of that show was. Were they just getting into trouble? Were they cops? No? Detectives? They just always found trouble. Anyway, so Fernando Lamas is, of course, Lorenzo Lamas' dad. But Fernando Lamas also, for older people, had himself quite the career. He was a leading man and actor, a big celebrity there in Hollywood. People liked him. He was popular. He was so popular among an older generation that Billy Crystal, of course, immortalized him as Fernando in Saturday Night Live sketches in the 1980s. Those sketches were based on Fernando Lamas. Fernando Lamas is a real person. Billy Crystal didn't want to go all in on, direct hit, with Fernando Lamas, so he just called the character Fernando. But let's check it out. Here we go. Billy Crystal on this, the day Fernando Lamas.
It's time now for Fernando's Hideaway.
And that was the last time that I saw Gary Cooper. Saludos, my friends. I'm so happy to be here tonight. My friends, this is the real thing tonight. I'm telling you, you're going to crazy, go nuts. My guests are two sensational people. They're very close and dear friends of mine. We have broken burritos together many times. He is the one with the beard, not Yasser Arafat. I'll tell you that right now. It's up close, it's almost frightening. And she is the one with him. Please welcome, my friends, the beautiful and talented actress, Miss Barbara Bach. Hello, darling.
Hello.
And her husband, an equally good friend of mine, Mr. Ringo. Now, help me with that last name.
Starr.
It's Starr. You see, now, on the bio, you have 3 friends here. That's fantastic. The bio said Starr with 2 R's.
Yeah.
And all week I've been going Starr, and I was not sure to stop, because the language is still fairly new to me. I have American teeth and a Spanish mouth, if you know what I'm saying to you. My friends, you feel the excitement at home. You know who you are. The studio was nuts all day, security crazy, and it's easy to tell why. Barbara, you look marvelous. Absolutely marvelous.
Thank you.
We don't need any more of that. There you go. Does that hold up? Is that still funny? Because people who had an understanding of the character he was doing, the actual person, Fernando Lamas, they thought it was funny. I was a kid. I didn't know who Fernando Lamas was. I just thought the character was funny. The voice was funny. You look marvelous. Let's bring that one back. Let's bring that back. No, don't bring it back, because that just means you're old. Fernando Lamas, he's going to hell. Put him in hell. He was like a sexy foreign actor boy toy guy in Hollywood who hooked up with other famous women, and he never really had an A-list career, but he was, a boy toy. So we're putting him in hell. There you go. Fernando Lamas goes to hell. Dead on this day, 1982. Dead on this day. Hold on. I'm going to make sure we do this one right. Dead on this day in 2011. God, everybody's going to hell. Al Davis. Al Davis. I'm putting him in hell. Al Davis seemed to be an asshole, okay? I know. So Al Davis is representative of a type of person that over the years, the mythology built around what they did has been fabricated to such an extent that they go from being obvious pieces of shit in their time to being deified as these great people. Al Davis, like there are people that'll tell you stories about Al Davis. What a great man Al Davis. Al Davis was a garbage human being. Al Davis was a con man. Al Davis was a huckster. He was a fast talker. I'm a fast talker. I know. It's a cell phone. Own goal. But there were just these guys who were assholes. Mike Ditka is another one. Mike Ditka was an asshole. But he's like, oh, we love Ditka. He tells it like it is. You have guys who tell it like it is. Anyone who says they appreciate someone who tells it like it is a follower. Because most of the time, someone who tells it like it is talking out of their ass like a drunk at the end of the bar. We over a period of time, as I say, deified these jerk-off people. These people who weren't nice people. It's sort of just incrementally eroded what we expect in civilized society. The guy who talks shit at the drop of a hat, he's an interesting guy. Meanwhile, the dude who goes, yeah, this is stupid and I'm walking away. We're pussies. You can't all walk around like you're fucking Al Davis. You can't all walk around like you're goddamn Mike Ditka in 1987, not saying please and thank you or apologizing for anything. Remember, that was another thing that came about a couple of years ago in politics. I think we're going back like 20, 30 years. But this whole idea that we never apologize, that's like an asshole attitude thing too. What do you mean we never apologize? What are we, God? Of course we should apologize. We fuck up. We make mistakes. Everybody should make mistakes. You should learn from them. I don't know. I always thought Al Davis was an a-hole. Thank you. That was quite the little rant we got off on there. Huh? Chris says his son looks like he has already spent some time in hell looking like a burn victim. Yeah, man. Al Davis's kid is weird. What's going on with his hair? What are with these people? What is with these people? Like, okay, so I started to get like a receding hairline, like in my mid-20s, and I immediately started shaving my head. I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, if my hair is going to like be a dick to me, I don't want them here. You can't be here. We're all one big happy family, this body. We're all working together. We're looking out for each other. If the hair doesn't want to be here, the hair can't be here. So the hair had to go. So I'm hypersensitive when I see people who have hair choices to make and they completely shit the bed. With all due respect to some of you MAGAs out there, and Donald Trump shit in the bed with his hair choices. What the fuck, man? Mark Davis, Al Davis's kid, totally shit in the bed with hair choices. I don't know. As a man, as a bald man, I can tell you that if I had hair, I would make much better choices. It has nothing to do with nothing. All right, let's go. Here we go. The hot topics of today, all the big stories, whatever it is that's happening in the world. I'm going to try and run through for you right now. Stream of consciousness rant. Let's go. Israel versus the world. As we told you, it is the 1-year anniversary of Israel declaring war on Hamas. That came one day after the October 7th attacks of last year. The world waits. The world waits now for a second declaration of war. This one would be against Iran. Iran, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, or last week, I should say, they did a pretty significant attack on Israeli proper, which is, not the norm because, of course, Iran has been waging a proxy war against Israel now for years and years. They use Hezbollah and Hamas and Houthis and other various groups of terror, but Iran never really puts their straight from Tehran, stamp on their missiles. And they did it this time. So that is sort of a seismic change in the way we have to look at what's going on over there. We have a real world power. I'm sorry to say it, but Iran is a real world power. There's a real world power going now, flexing and attacking Israel. How will Israel respond? That's what we wait for. Over the weekend, I guess there were high Jewish holidays over the weekend. So, everybody's sitting around going, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I guess history says that these things, Israel does major military offenses right after high holidays or whatever. And I apologize if I'm saying them wrong. I don't know who I'm apologizing to. I bet there's not a single Jewish person in my chat room. I bet there's not a single Jewish person. I don't know why I'm applauding for that. I didn't mean to hit the applause button for that because Jews are welcome. As a matter of fact, we need more Jews. So we're waiting to see what Israel's going to do. Is Israel doing anything right now? Let me check. Let's see here very quickly. No. So, I mean, it's what? It's 1 o'clock here, 8. So it's 9 p.m. there. It's 9 p.m. at night there. You would think if, Israel was going to attack Tehran or Iran in general. I mean, I don't know what they're going to go after. People are worried they're going to go after nuclear sites. I'm like, why are we worried about that? Isn't that what they should be taking out? They should be targeting nuclear sites. Don't target the nuclear sites. Well, if I'm Israel and they've been shooting a bunch of missiles at me and I know that they've got potential nuclear capabilities and they may actually still have, I'm going to wipe that out. No, don't do that. That would be too provocative. And if I'm Israel, I'm like, too provocative? You mean like sending a whole bunch of missiles into Tel Aviv last week? Like provocative like that? You're motherfucking right we're going to be provocative. So who knows? We'll see. Judging from another story that we're going to get into here in a few minutes concerning the new Bob Woodward book, it doesn't seem like the United States of America has any control whatsoever on Bibi Netanyahu. Maybe we never did. Maybe that's just something we like to tell ourselves. No, they'll listen to us if they need to. I don't know, man. He is not as unpopular as I think many Americans would have you believe that he is over there. There are a lot of people in Israel who are like, let's go. And not in a good way. So that's what we do. We wait for that. Now let's talk about Hurricane Milton. Hurricane Milton is barreling through the Gulf of Mexico, hot on the heels of Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Milton is bigger than Hurricane Helene. I guess it's faster. They said it was Category 5 for a little while there as it got through the really warm waters of the open Gulf right in the middle. As it bears closer to the Gulf Coast of Florida, targeting Tampa, I guess is what they're saying now. which is not good because, I don't know if you know this or not, but people live in Tampa, lots of them. Whole lot of things can go wrong there with that many people. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what it looks like. And by the way, this is not a weather map. You know me. I just like to look at the Twitter or at the Google map. All right, let's see here. We'll start. Hold on, guys. Look at the maps. Let's see how big it. I mean, it's just going to look like big, giant, swirling clouds to us, but. Oh my. Okay, here we go. All right, let's pull this up. Let's check this out. And we'll play with the maps. I love playing with the maps. All right, here we go. That is all right. So look at all this. All of this right here. This is, I think, what is this? What would this be? Is this Helene? Is this Helene spinning out, or is this Helene? I don't know. Whatever. All right, let's go in further. Let's see. All right. No, that's too far. All right, well, here's what they're saying. It's going to hit like right in here, right in Tampa. There you go. It's going to come crashing in right here. Category 5 right now out here in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to drop down to Category 4, maybe even Category 3. There isn't really a big fear that it's going to pick up steam, but the problem is the storm surge. Let me tell you about the storm surge that they're going to be looking at here. Roundabout Clearwater all the way down to Naples. They're looking at a storm surge that is 2 to 3 times the storm surge that was suffered up in Panama City by Helene. Okay, so Helene, the one that just came through, that we were all, until this one took our attention, we were all still about Helene and the horrible devastation that it left in its wake. Well, we're going to completely forget about all those people now. Screw you, North Carolina. Although not really, because your state is in play, and so we're probably going to hear more about you. This storm surge is going to be 3 times larger as it crashes into the Florida shore than the one that Helene gave us. Helene gave us 5 to 7 feet. Okay, this storm surge, they're saying, could be 7 to 18 feet. Oh, 7 to 18 feet. So, and I guess, do we have any cool maps? Do we have any cool, let me see. This one's going to be bad. This one is going to be worse, far worse than Helene. And it's going to be far worse, not necessarily because it's all that much larger of a storm. By the time it does hit the shore, it's going to drop down to a Category 3. But it's about where it's hitting. It's about the direct hit. Tampa Bay, think about this. Tampa Bay, you think, these people are used to taking big storms. Tampa Bay hasn't taken a big storm since 1921. They've had the offshoots of other things. Other hurricanes have come through and, forced scares and done some damage and all of that stuff, but nothing really big, not since 1921. And they're saying that's what they're preparing for. Luckily, it looks like all the people are leaving. We've been talking about this for weeks. It looks like there are a shit ton of people getting out of Tampa Bay. Let's see here. Do we have any good tracking? Let me see if we can see. I love the tracking stuff. I also love, I love the whole, yesterday I made a joke on the Twitter. I don't think anybody got it. And I think people now think that I'm stupid, but whatever. I don't care. Made a joke on Twitter last night. I said, hey, kind of interesting how hurricanes never hit the West Coast. Right. All right. Look at me playing a little bit with political fire, because, a bunch of idiots are out there saying that it's the Hollywood liberals who are controlling the weather. And it seems like a lot of people are believing that. So I just thought it was fun. Why not throw out there? Why don't hurricanes hit the West Coast? Probably because of them Hollywood liberals with their weather machines. I also suggested, and this is just, walk with me on this, if there was a political party who had the ability to control the weather, I would so be on that political party's side. You say that like it's a bad thing. That's pretty smart. I would want to be involved in that. I would want to make sure that my vote, is going to be heard with the people who can control the fucking weather. But go ahead. Say it like it's a bad thing. I learned also last night while watching all of this hurricane stuff, I learned last night all about the difference between hurricanes, cyclones, and typhoons. You know what the difference is? You know that there are only hurricanes in the Caribbean? Because it's just a word we made up. I don't know if you guys saw Saturday Night Live over the weekend, but Nate Bargatze does this great, second time he's done this. He did it the first time when he was on Saturday Night Live. It's his second hosting thing was Saturday. He does this stand-up bit about how we just totally butchered the Queen's English and we just made up words and things don't mean it. And it's a very funny comedy bit, but he's adapted it now in his 2 Saturday Night Live appearances to sketches where he plays George Washington saying that this is what this country will be. And it's very funny. Hurricane is another example of that. They don't call them hurricanes anywhere else. They call them typhoons or cyclones, or actually a tropical cyclone. Once it reaches a certain amount, then it becomes either a hurricane or a typhoon, depending on where you are. Anyway, Milton's going to be serious. Landfall on Milton is expected on the west coast of Florida late Wednesday as a Category 3 storm with sustained winds of 111 to 129 miles per hour. Milton could retain hurricane strength as it churns across central Florida towards the Atlantic Ocean. That track would largely spare other states ravaged by Helene, which killed at least 230 people on its path from Florida to the Carolinas. Let's see. National Hurricane Center in Miami said Tuesday afternoon that Hurricane Milton's intensity has rebounded, though it was still a Category 4 storm. All right, Category 4, that's better than Category 5, which is what it was last night. But as they told us, we are going to expect to see it drop down. Today is the last full day for Florida residents to get their families and their homes ready and evacuate. Florida Highway Patrol says heavy traffic patterns are flowing northbound and eastbound on all roadways. Okay, we don't need all of that. So anyway, tomorrow's going to be the big day for this. Hurricane Milton, going to make you forget Hurricane Helene. Going to make you think of Hurricane Helene as just some, local opening band who... Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's keep our fingers crossed for Shelby, Mama B's girl, granddaughter, down there doing the essential work as an ICU nurse. Good for her. She can stay. Thankfully, she is willing to stay. That's heroic stuff right there. And keep a good thought for everybody else down there. That's just sucks, man. That's, it's like, look, I don't like Florida. I don't, not because of politics. I don't like Florida. It's hot. It's so humid. The bugs down there are massive. Ugh. I don't dislike Florida as much as I dislike New Orleans, but Florida is also one of these places where I'm like, no. The beaches in Florida are so much better than the ones in California. No, they're not. The ones from the Pacific beaches have a breeze. They're cool. They're gorgeous. The Florida beaches are all really steamy and humid and Caribbean-like. Stop it. Anyway, that's just my thought. Or you could go down to the Gulf off Corpus Christi and swim in a toilet. There you go. That seems like a really nice place. If I wanted to swim next to industrial buildings, I'd just stay at Lake Michigan. I'd go to the beaches in Gary, Indiana. The best beaches in America are on the West Coast. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Or maybe even the Atlantic coast in the summer. Maybe that. All right. Anyway, Hurricane Milton, that's coming. We'll have more coverage of that tomorrow. Bob Woodward's got a new book out. Bob Woodward, he, of course, of Woodward and Bernstein, the guys who changed journalism and the way it was reported forever. I don't know if that's good or if that's bad, but it certainly did change. Studied Woodward and Bernstein a lot in college. They were sort of exalted as the greats. I don't know. I think time tells a different story. As a wide-eyed kid, I was like, yeah. But then, you start to... I will say this. I love Bob Woodward's writing, and specifically, I love Bob Woodward's chronicling of the last 10 years of politics in America. I think he's great. So when I hear he's dropping a new book, I'm like, okay, I've read them all. I'll check out the new one. So Woodward's got this new book that he's releasing, and apparently there are some really crazy... Bob Woodward is a political reporter, or not even just political. I mean, stories. He's just sort of... He can cover anything that he wants. He's one of those dudes. In journalism circles, he's on the Mount Rushmore. It says here, Bob Woodward's new book, War, it's called War, outlines several startling revelations about what went on behind the scenes as the world's most contentious foreign conflicts unfolded. See, this is why this is all about presidents and administrations and how the different administrations dealt with specific world-changing military events. Only focusing on, the more recent ones. So we're talking about W. Bush, we're talking about Biden, we're talking about Obama, we're talking about Trump. So War is the new book. It says, what went on behind the scenes as the world's most contentious foreign conflicts unfolded. Okay, so here they're all right, I don't want to do the excerpts because there's a lot of excerpts and, I hate to get political. But there are a couple of things that I did want to mention. Like, for instance, so this is from the book War by Bob Woodward. This is a conversation between Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Alexander Shoigu, who is his counterpart in Russia. So he is Putin's defense secretary. So the defense secretary of the United States of America is talking with the defense secretary of Russia, or minister. I don't know what they call it. It's different, but it's the same job. You know what I mean? And this is on the eve of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So taking you back a couple of years now. So on the eve of the invasion, we saw all the tanks lined up. We were watching for a couple of days going, when is this going to happen? So on the eve of the invasion, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is on the phone having a heated exchange with Russian Defense Minister Alexander Shoigu. Here's what it says. The book recounts a tense phone call between Secretary Lloyd Austin and his Russian counterpart in October of 2022. The book recounts a tense call. Here's what they said in the call. I don't know, for some reason it said the same damn thing twice in 3 different sentences. The book recounts a tense phone call between Defense Secretary Austin and his Russian counterpart in October of 2022. Here's the quote. This is Lloyd Austin speaking. If you did this, all of the restraints that we have been operating under in Ukraine would be reconsidered, Austin said to Defense Minister Sergei Alexander Shoigu. This would isolate Russia on the world stage to a degree you Russians cannot fully appreciate. Okay, that's what Lloyd Austin says. The Russian guy says, I don't take kindly to being threatened, Shoigu responded. And here's what the Defense Secretary of the United States says to this fucking bitch. Here's what he says. He goes, Mr. Minister, I am the leader of the most powerful military in the history of the world. I don't make threats. Oh, come on. That's exactly how I want my United States Secretary of Defense dealing with a dude from the Soviet Union. I am so tired of you. We got a flag behind us, so you know I love this country. I'm so tired of people thinking that we are pussies. I am so fucking tired of it. Let's go. I also like this. Check this out. So this is another thing from the book. This is Biden on Putin. Okay, this is Biden talking about Putin. Ahead of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Biden complained that Obama didn't do enough to stop Putin in 2014 when the Russian leaders first invaded Crimea. So Biden's bitching and moaning about Obama when he was vice president to Obama. He's bitching and moaning about how Obama did not take Putin as serious as he should have. Here's what Biden said, quoting, "They fucked up in 2014, Biden said to a friend. That's why we are here. We fucked it up. Barack never took Putin seriously." Biden then added, "We did nothing. We gave Putin a license to continue." Biden was angry and continued saying, "Well, I'm revoking his fucking license." That's how I want my people dealing with the Russians. Anyway, there's a whole bunch more. There's a whole bunch of political stuff, too. Trump's, I don't want to go into that. But anyway, it's going to be a good book. It's going to be a good book. I'll read anything Bob Woodward does. Bob Woodward is a good writer. He makes the words dance on the page, if you will. All right, let's see here. What else do we have? TikTok is being sued by 12 different states and the District of Columbia. They're being sued on the grounds that the algorithm created by TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, knowingly acts as a sort of subliminal and hypnotic to teen kids and their brains. Essentially what I've been saying for how long now? When did I first discover TikTok? And I've been telling you about how it's fucking heroin. How it's the worst thing ever. And I use it a lot. But I fully admit it is the worst thing and I use it a lot. It's a dopamine rush. And that's exactly what these 12 states are saying. They're saying that they know what they're doing. They are trying to trap young Americans by giving them these dopamine rush with these algorithms that are designed to their specific response. I don't know what it is. The 12 states are suing TikTok. And by the way, this is different than what happened earlier this year when TikTok was essentially told that you either need to sell or you can't do business in America. Now, remember, that's a slow-moving train. That was decided about 6 months ago. So now we've got to wait for that to matriculate its way through all the appeal processes and all that. So that's a different thing, TikTok having to sell to an American company. This is a real thing. Okay, that TikTok having to sell to another company or to an American company is just stupid. It's because they're afraid of the Chinese. Stop it. Okay, it's stupid. The 12 attorneys general suing on behalf of their state. This is real. This is legitimate. There should be a legitimate concern as to how TikTok is affecting kids. Now, on the other side, if TikTok ByteDance just finds an American buyer, they'll just be allowed to keep continuing, just keep doing what they're doing. How come that side, the one that is forcing them to sell, how come that side also isn't saying, hey, can we address the mental health concerns that these 12 attorney generals on an independent suit, different from what we're doing here, that they're talking about? Can we maybe merge the two? Because that's the real concern. I'm a 55-year-old man. TikTok isn't supposed to be for me. And yet that thing is locked into my brain so much that I can't wait for the next swipe, because the next swipe is going to be something absolutely pleasing to me. And my dopamine goes off. And before you know it, what should have been just a 15-minute visit to the bathroom turns into like an hour and a half. And my kid going, where'd you go? Well, I was in the bathroom for an hour and a half. Yeah, my legs fell asleep. I was on TikTok. Okay, so that's what's going on with TikTok in the States. Vince McMahon, this is an interesting situation going on with Vince McMahon, considering that I just finished watching the Netflix series Mr. McMahon. Fascinating look at the guy. Vince McMahon, he's another one of these a-holes. He leaned into the hole. You remember I was telling you earlier about how at some point in this country we started deifying jerk-offs, and he kind of leaned into that with his whole Mr. McMahon character. He was like, hey, America kind of likes dickheads now. I'm going to be a dickhead and make a whole lot of money. And he did that. But the real Vince McMahon, he's been having a whole bunch of troubles of his own, all kinds of sex suits and embezzling charges and where'd the money go. And the WWE board has replaced him. He's no longer on the board. He's no longer president. I think Triple H is now the president of the WWE. And that's for real, I believe. I'm not you would think that would be a bit, right? Oh, they made Triple H the head of this multi-billion-dollar. No, but I think legitimately he is. I think that Anyway, point is this. Vince McMahon has been in a lot of trouble. And now it looks like there is going to be more. The plaintiffs who are suing Vince McMahon in the WWE, multiple women for the things that Vince McMahon did. The plaintiffs are asking the new WWE board, this is interesting, and I'll tell you why. The plaintiffs are asking the new WWE board whether or not they can talk about what Vince McMahon did, and they're asking the new WWE board to dismiss the non-disclosure agreements. Oh, this is fucked up, man. This is like one of them situations where the plaintiffs, the women, and by making this ask very public, this is a headline today. Everybody is reading about it. The new WWE board, who is promising to be completely different now, and Vince is gone, and we've cleaned ourselves up. That new board is being asked to drop the non-disclosures. If you're so new and you're not into covering up and all that, then drop the non-disclosures. Show the world that you, the WWE, truly are a changed organization, and allow all of these victims of Vince McMahon's past, allow them to speak. We are waiting to hear what the WWE is going to say about that. Woo, man. They got him in a bad spot. Got him in a weird spot. I can relate to this because when my partner Kelly and I left CBS Radio, we had to sign non-disclosures. And Kelly and I often talked about whether or not those kinds of non-disclosures would actually be enforced in 2024, in 2023, in the Me Too era. I say to her all the time, I'm like, Kelly, you know you got a crazy podcast if you want to put it out there. And she's like, yeah, I'm not ready yet. Things happened to her. She's dead now. And that's probably a sigh of relief for some of the people who were the reason behind her having to sign a non-disclosure and me having to sign a non-disclosure. But I'd be lying to you if I told you that we didn't have that in our back pocket. Then I'm like, you know what? You move back up here to Dallas. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that podcast. Let's see what we can get for that podcast in this market. You guys might never have heard it because we probably would have sent it to certain people before we made it public, and they probably would have bought it or whatever. But it's one of the things that like kind of pisses me off about her dying. Those people had a good day when she died. Those people heard that she died and went, oh, well, I don't have to worry about her coming after me again. Or I don't have to worry about that. That's gone. People did things to her. Two people. Two high-ranking former CBS radio management types who are still in the business and making big money and controlling the wheels of progress and all that shit. Yeah, those people are still there. And hold on, I broke my mic. I don't know. I'm not dead. I'm not dead, and I'm a loose fucking cannon. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe that story will come out someday. Anyway, the WWE board, they got to say, yeah, absolutely. Because, that's what Kelly said to me when she goes, if we just went public with this, the company that we signed the non-disclosure with, CBS Radio, they were bought by another company and the name has changed. Do you think that the new company wants to go into court enforcing a non-disclosure from some of the bad stuff that the previous company did? And, we're like, no. I mean, the only problem there is that it's the same managers. The same managers, they just changed their business cards. So now instead of working for CBS Radio, they work for something else. Also, here in the market. All right, let's go. So there you go. That's what's going on with Mr. McMahon. We'll see how that plays out. Mega Millions is in the news, and not for one of the fun reasons. We like when Mega Millions is in the news because it's like $1 billion or something like that, but that is not the case. Mega Millions is in the news because the price of a Mega Millions ticket is going to be going up by 150%? $5. It's going to be $5 for a Mega Millions ticket starting in February, I guess. It says Mega Millions tickets will climb to $5, but officials promise bigger prizes and better odds. Oh, are they? Are the officials making promises? Are they promises of better odds? Or is it just... I'm wondering, follow-up question, the better odds, are the better odds commensurate with the 150 price hike? Is it like 150% better odds or no? No. Oh, it's not? Oh, I didn't think so. Okay. The cost of buying Mega Millions Jackpot Dream will still be more than double, but lottery officials said they're confident players won't mind paying more after the changes that will lead to larger prices and more frequent winners. Lottery officials announced Monday that it will cost $5. Now, what are they promising here? Because right now it takes probably 3 or 4 or 5 weeks of rollovers to get to the $1 billion mark. Now, if they're doubling the price of the ticket, you would think that it would only take a week now to get to the 1 billion mark, right? At least a week, maybe a week and a couple of days. Lottery officials announced Monday that it'll cost $5 to play Mega Millions beginning in April. That's up from the current $2 per ticket. The price increase will be only one of the changes to Mega Millions that officials said will result in improved jackpot odds. All right, I don't care. There you go, Mega Millions. That's what's going on there. I love that shit. I love Lotto. I don't play it enough. I hardly ever play it, but I love it. Like when it's a big one and I am playing it because it's hope. It's like, how much is hope? How much You got nothing in your life for the next 12 hours. All right. Wouldn't it be nice to maybe have something that you could go, but what if maybe? And then, of course, you don't win. Treat yourself, is all I'm saying. Emotionally, psychologically, treat yourself. Just get yourself a lottery ticket, make yourself feel better. And then you fall into what my big problem is I never check lottery tickets. Nope. I will after like 9 months. Like all the lottery tickets go in the same place, and then after like 9 months or something, I'll check them, and I'll have a bunch of them, and they're all losers. But as long as I haven't checked them, as long as I don't know for certain that I've lost, it could be a big winner. Keep hope alive, everybody. That's what America's about. Adam says, my lawyer friend says that NDAs are 100% unenforceable unless there's libel or slander. Well, all right. I mean, I don't know. I don't think this one would be enforced. I don't know if I can make a sweeping, judgment on all non-disclosures being unenforceable. But I think in 2024, I think that there are a certain kind of non-disclosure that probably are unenforceable. And I think that those are anything that would fall into the hashtag Me Too movement and that kind of thing. I don't believe that companies will go to war trying to victimize somebody a second time. It's a bad look. It's just a bad look. Barney wants to chime in on the new lottery tickets. He says, I'll buy less frequently and I'll buy only on ticket instead of two. I'll buy only one ticket instead of two. I always do one birthday-based ticket and one quick pick. Guess the quick pick is out henceforth. No, I do one ticket, only one ticket. If you're going to win, it's going to be on one ticket. Stop it. If you're meant to win, it's going to be on the one. If you're meant to win, it doesn't matter if you're meant to win, it'll be on one ticket. So always one ticket and always random. Always let the universe do it. Birthdays. I'm overthinking it. Humans with our arrogance overthinking this shit. It's all just chaos. It's all just random numbers bouncing around and falling a certain way. Why not let the universe give it a shot? That's what I do. But I begrudge no man his faith, and I begrudge no man his lottery peccadillos. Barney, good luck to you. I wish you luck. Adam, back on the non-disclosure thing, says, it's the threat of litigation that scares people. That's what it's there for. Yeah. I don't know. It's, I got a little bit dark with my own personal history there, so I'm trying to pull the car out of the mud. Let's talk about this. New Jersey, speaking of pulling your car out of the mud, New Jersey Senate race. So, we got a whole bunch of, it doesn't matter to us who's running for Senate in New Jersey, but man, was this weird. We had another one of these lockups, the mental freeze jobs. I'm going to show you what happened. Remember, we saw him with Mitch McConnell. We saw him with Biden. We've seen one with Trump now. Now we've got this guy. This is Curtis Bashaw. He is the senator. He's running for he's trying to be a senator from the state of New Jersey. He's the Republican. Now, you're going to see somebody walk up to him. Look at him. He looks fine. He doesn't look at all like he's about to have mental lockup. The guy that walks up to him is his debate opponent. The guy that walks up to him first, because I didn't know. The first time I watched it, I'm like, who's that dude? The guy who walks up to him is the debate opponent. And he just, all right, so we'll watch this. Here we go. This is, I'm going to make it bigger. There we go. This is a Republican Senate candidate in New Jersey, Curtis Bashaw, and he has what can only be described as a Mitch McConnell, Joe Biden-like freeze-up moment.
That we are dealing with affordability in a sensible way.
You okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to?
I think maybe we need to take a commercial break and address some issues here on the stage. Stay with us.
All right. There you go. Hold on. We'll see it one more time. They awkwardly go to a commercial. Here,
ability in a sensible way.
there he goes.
You okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right there when Kim, God, I hope that's his name. Legitimately, I think it is his name. I think his name is Kim. Fuck, it better be Kim. Kim, his opponent, walks up to him and says, "Are you okay?" This dude has no idea where he is. He's like, "Yeah," and then he gives like the smile, like like when birds are flying around your head because you just took one to the face. When that happens, and then people are like, "You okay?" And you're like, "Yeah," and you just give like a stupid smile because the least you can do, the least control that you have at that moment of your mental faculties is to just smile like an idiot. He does that here. Watch this one more time. He doesn't know where he was when the opponent goes, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" He looks like, "Huh? What? What do you mean? Am I okay?" Of course. Here it comes.
You okay?
See right here, look at him. He has no idea who this person is that's approaching him. No fucking clue. He's just been debating him for an hour. He has no idea.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Yeah, like nothing's wrong. Like this is totally normal. Something is going on here.
Okay.
Did you see the idiot smile? Hold on, there you go. Watch the idiot smile.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. There's the reflexive idiot smile. I'm fine. I can smile. Life is good. Okay. And he's like, back to, where am I? No clue where he is. This is, his brain is going.
Do you want to?
I think maybe we need to take a commercial.
All right, there you have it. That's, now what are they saying about this? Some bullshit is what they're saying about this. They're saying that it's simply a case of him being hungo. Here, I'll put myself back up. Simply a case of him being hungo. He was campaigning all day and he had nothing to eat. And I'm like, no, that's some bullshit. That's not what that is. That dude's got something medical going on, and I don't think he should be running for senator, but hey, whatever. Republicans, they tend to run the absolute worst people. Oh, and by the way, that guy's one of these anti-vax dudes, and it's not the vax. He didn't get the vax. So whatever that is, please stop. I know you want to, like, he's a vaxxer. No, it's not the vax. But there's something wrong with him. And okay, whatever. Sure, he's just hungry. Understand this. I eat one meal a day. I've not eaten anything yet today. I've had coffee and I've had a Gatorade and a water. That's it. That's all I've had today. And I won't eat anything today until 6 o'clock, maybe. Now, at 6 o'clock, I might do 3,000 calories, or something, but that's it. And that is how I have been living for the last 10 years, 10, 15 years. I eat one meal a day. And let me tell you, as far as, like losing weight and all that, does nothing. Does nothing. That's why I don't understand the whole fasting thing. People are like, yeah, I'm doing fasting. I'm like, dude, I fucking fast every day. I will finish my dinner at like 6:30, and then maybe at 9 o'clock I'll have like a snack or something. But that's it. That's all I'm gonna eat until 6:30 the next day. So tell me again about fasting and how it works. I've been eating one meal a day. I've been eating once every like 23 and a half hours. Is that how it works? Wait, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Whatever. I have never felt that way. I've never been like, ugh. I've never had complete brain lock. Have I? Well, now, wait a second. No, but remember one of my first shows 3 years ago, I had an anxiety attack. But that was different. That was an anxiety attack, and I knew what it was and figured it out and all that kind of stuff. I had an anxiety attack, and I had to like stop the show because I felt like I was going to pass out. But not anything like that again. And it wasn't because I was hungo. He just didn't have anything to eat. Adam says you still have to eat healthy. Diet is 80% of weight loss. Whatever. You're telling me I wouldn't lose weight if all I ate was a bag of Doritos every night at 6 o'clock, and I did that for like 6 months. You're telling me I wouldn't lose weight? I'd lose weight. I'd be fucking hungry though. That's not enough. A bag of Doritos, that would, oh God. And I don't want to do that. You know why? Because on night 3 or 4, I would suddenly not like Doritos anymore. And I don't want to not like Doritos. All right, we're going to continue on. Let's see, what else do we have here? So look, hey, best thoughts for that New Jersey Senate candidate. But come on, man, you can't be a senator. You're like having brain freeze in front of everyone. New Jersey's an important state too. Good news is I think he's getting his ass kicked by Kim. And also, how about, I hope it's Kim. I'm still not entirely sure that the guy he's running against is Kim. I think it is. And how about Kim walking over to him like, are you okay? Are you okay? Now, he probably saw that as an opportunity, but also maybe he's a good person. I don't know. That's you. You decide. Are you going to be cynical about what that was, or are you going to be optimistic about what that was? Right now, we're going to move on. Shams Charania, say that 50 times fast. Shams Charania, the NBA expert, he is now officially the dude that's going to be replacing Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, if you like the NBA coverage, Woj is your NBA experts. He left after 20 years of doing this. Woj left on his own, I guess. Seems like it. He's going to become the athletic director at St. Bonaventure College. He was, Adrian Wojnarowski became like the NBA source of sources. And he's like the Adam Scheffler of NBA. And Woj left. And so Shams Charania, again, try to say that 3 times fast. Shams Charania is now going to replace him as the NBA insider, as the NBA expert, all of that stuff. Good for Shams Charania. Also, interestingly enough, Shams Charania was his mentor, Adrian Wojnarowski. Look at that. Woj was his mentor. So it's all meant to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. Let's see here. What else do we have? The Jets, breaking news. The New York Jets this morning fired Robert Saleh, their head coach for these past 4 years. Is this like the middle of his 4th season? I don't know. Look, first of all, talk about the AFC East. That is anybody's division. Every team anybody can make a run in that division right now. I mean, it looks like to me, if I was a Bills fan, I would think it's ours to lose, even though the Bills have, had a couple of missteps, but they're still, let's not shit ourselves, folks. They're still the Buffalo Bills. You got Miami. Miami is whatever is going to happen with them. They might fire They might fire their unfireable new wave coach, Mike McDaniel. He might get out of there. He's all because of the Tua situation. They got no quarterback down there. Tua can't play anymore. I'm sorry. I know that he's seen on the sidelines and he's being a good teammate. The Patriots are like garbage, but are they garbage? I mean, I don't know. The AFC is I thought at the beginning of the season, we all thought that it was going to be a 3-team race between the Bills, the ascending Jets with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, and, hey, don't look now, the Miami Dolphins are humming. That's what we all thought. And now everybody except the Buffalo Bills are a dumpster fire in that division. And if we're being honest, the Buffalo Bills are probably the 4th best team in the AFC, maybe even 5th. I mean, they've been a bit erratic. They still have the pedigree of who they are, and so we know what they can be, especially in the postseason. But, you got to put together a couple of decisive wins to make people start crowing about how they're obviously going to take that division and move forward into the playoffs. The Jets firing Robert Saleh this morning is interesting because wouldn't you think that the Jets were going to ride this one out because the division is so in flux, because Miami doesn't look like they're anything to worry about, because the Patriots seem to be in year 1 of a rebuild? Wouldn't you, as the Jets, go, you know what, end of the day, we still have Aaron Rodgers. I know he threw 3 picks on Sundays, but he's still Aaron Rodgers, and I'm ready to ride into war with that dude any day. No. Woody Johnson and the Jets are saying, no, that's not what we're thinking. We're firing our head coach. We're going to elevate our defensive coordinator, which is absurd because the problem isn't with the defense. That defense is still really good. The problem is with the offense. They need to go out and get themselves an offensive coach. What's Belichick is both now, okay? He's both. You got Bill Belichick made his bones as a defensive coach. Yeah, and he also introduced the 12-man personnel to the NFL. So I'd say he's got some offensive stripes as well. Belichick could be there. Who else you got? Who else is available that's out there as like a mid-season replacement that they could go get? You got your Urban Meyer. No, I know that's a joke. The dude with Tennessee, the guy who was down, Mike Vrabel, Patriot way. You know, if that's what the Jets are trying to do, the Patriot way. But firing Robert Saleh this morning and elevating their defensive coordinator, I mean, that kind of tells me that they've given up on the season, that they don't or does it suggest that the entire problem with that team was Robert Saleh? I don't think that's it. I think that the problem with the team may have had something to do with Robert Saleh, but I think the problem with the New York Jets is that Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers didn't get along. And it doesn't matter who your coach is, when you've got Aaron Rodgers on the sideline strutting around like he's the team owner, who are the players going to listen to? Robert Saleh, a guy who has achieved absolutely nothing, or worse yet, his minion, the defensive coordinator, who has just been elevated to head coach of the New York Jets? Who are the players going to listen to? Either of those guys or Aaron fucking Rodgers. This is all on Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not talking about whether they win or not. I'm talking about the dumpster fire that the New York Jets are is all on Aaron Rodgers and the way he comports himself. He never once gave any respect to Robert Saleh or this coaching regime. From the time that he signed on there were all these little whispers and stories about how Aaron Rodgers doesn't like these coaches. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like this. So after a couple of years of that, and especially consider last year, where all Aaron Rodgers is doing is hanging out, tripping balls on mushrooms and getting in the ear of other players. Who do you think these players think is running this team? Aaron Rodgers or Robert Saleh? It's a complete fucking mess. And by them firing Robert Saleh today and not riding this out and trying to fix that internally, maybe even, dare I say, just jettisoning Aaron Rodgers. Get him out of there. I think he's the one that's the problem. But no, they fired the head coach because obviously Aaron Rodgers has the biggest stick in the room. And I don't know. You make a mistake. You give a big stick to a guy. You give a big stick to Patrick Mahomes. You give a big stick to Josh Allen. You give a big stick to Lamar Jackson. You don't give a big fucking stick to Aaron Rodgers in 2024, maybe in 2020. Green Bay would have given him the big stick. But no, he went to New York. And he completely ruined that team with bad vibes and bullshit attitude. Which is so ironic because in his press conference, remember, he said anything that's not football has no place in this locker room. That was the day that Aaron Rodgers signed with the New York Jets. Nothing has no place in this locker room, he said. And then just following that was just nothing but bullshit, an endless wave of nonsense, culminating in his first season with 4 plays into game 1, him tearing his ACL. And then again, just hanging out all season, being a dick, just like, had a lot of time, a lot of time to sort of, Robert Saleh calls a play in practice and Aaron Rodgers is standing there and he doesn't like that play call. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to let the other guys on the team know? That was a bullshit call. And then who do the other players on the team think know more about football? Aaron Rodgers or Robert fucking Saleh, who's never done anything? Right? So that's the problem. So anyway, there you have it. The Jets are in disarray. They fired Robert Saleh after 4 years. And the good news here, we'll stay on the topic of football. The good news here is that, well, if you watched Monday Night Football last night, the big question that we were all asking ourselves yesterday has been answered. Taylor and Travis are still banging. They are still banging. They're still a thing. Those two sexy hot people have not gotten tired of doing the Lego dance. And this was a question that we were all worried about because if you remember a couple of months ago, there was the release of a document that purported to suggest that there was an end date in this relationship, thus confirming a lot of the rumors that this was all a fabricated relationship. It's not, and if you're stupid, you thought it was, but okay, we can't help everybody. It's not a fake relationship. They're two hot people who are very powerful. To what degree they love each other, I don't know, and you don't know either. But to suggest that this was all just a thing for publicity, Taylor Swift did it for the publicity. I'm like, are you insane? She didn't need the publicity from this. However, it did make Travis Kelce like one of the biggest stars in the world when before he met her and was dating her, he was just a really good tight end for a world championship team. That was it. Now he's fucking Travis Kelce. So anyway, the date for their supposed breakup was a couple of days ago, and there hadn't been any public sightings of Travis and Taylor in a couple of weeks. And that had a lot of people going, oh, those documents that were released, they were legit. They're legit documents. They really are a fake couple. And the breakup date has happened. And now they just can't announce it on that date because, they were outed. Well, and no, so we're all like, here's the other thing. Over the weekend, apparently, it was Travis Kelce's birthday. He had this big birthday party. His parents were there, brothers, sister, all that stuff, whatever. I don't know. Does he have a sister? Who cares? It was a big party, and it was in conjunction with this massive car program that Travis Kelce is involved in for students in the camp. Anyway, big, giant thing that Travis Kelce is involved in on his birthday happened over the weekend, and Taylor Swift wasn't there. So that brings us to last night's game. The big question was, will she be at the game? If she's not at the game, then they are broken up. If she is at the game, then apparently everything's fine, and she really was just practicing for her tour in Miami on the night of his birthday. Well, she was there. She was there. She had weird sparkles on her face. Did you see that? What was she doing? What was she at a rave? She thinks she was at Burning Man? What's going on? She had this weird sort of sparkly makeup on her cheeks. Bitch, you are a woman in your 30s. Why are you dressing like, a pony princess birthday girl on, who's 12? What is that? What is a pony princess birthday girl? I don't know. That's what happens with a stream of consciousness. Pony princess birthday girl. I'm good. My cognitive is good. Pony princess birthday girl. All right. So there you have it. Travis and Taylor are still together. So I got a 15-year-old kid. I tell you about this all the time. And I explained to my son that one of the real shames of his generation is that they will miss so much in life. They'll miss it all simply because their noses are always buried in their phones. We were driving. I remember we were driving somewhere and we were going by something cool. And I pointed this out to my kid. I'm like, hey, check that out. Look at that. How cool is that? And without moving, without taking his eyes off the phone, he was watching something. He goes, yeah, that's cool, Dad. Like, didn't even look, just like totally shining me on. I'm like, dude, you're missing cool stuff. Your whole life, your whole generation. You guys are just missing the real world that's happening in front of you because you're staring at a screen. Well, here's an example of that. I love this. This is so funny, guys. Have you seen this? This is Justin Timberlake. Remember him, Drunky McDrunk-a-lot? He's fresh off his DUI trial. Well, he's on tour, and Justin Timberlake is playing a concert. I don't know where this concert is, but he's like giving high fives and handshakes and hugs to the front row, the people in the front row. And he starts singing directly to this girl. You're going to see her. He starts singing directly to her. This is probably, if you're in the front row at a Justin Timberlake concert, this is your dream, right? He's singing directly to her, and she never looks up. She is scrolling her phone for something. And then finally, Justin decides to move on, and somebody tells her, they're like, look. And she looks up, and she sees Justin Timberlake moving on, and she freaks out. She's like, oh, I missed it. Yeah, get your nose out of the phone. Here you go. This is a great example. There you go. You see him. Look, he's shaking hands. Make me smaller. Now he's bending down. She's in her phone. Now she looks up. Now she's like, no, oh my God. Here, watch this again. All right. So everybody know. Now this girl, do you see this girl between his legs? Here's her phone. Here's her. She's looking down at the phone. He is literally leaning over her, singing directly to her, and this girl is buried in her phone. She's probably scrolling pictures of Justin Timberlake. And now look, now this girl right here, she is telling her to look up. And like any teen She's not going to immediately look up. She's going to be like, yeah, hold on, wait a second. Just hold on, wait, hold on, just wait. And then finally she looks up and she misses it. And her heart is broken. And she collapses in a heap on the stage as she desperately grasps at Justin Timberlake's exiting leg. Watch this. She goes, look, it's him. And now she's like, oh my God, too late, bitch. He's gone. He's moving on. Look at her here. Look at her. Now she's desperately reaching for his leg. She's like, no, please. Oh, please, Justin, sing to me some more. And he's like, no, you generation, you got to get your nose out of your phone. I love this. There she is. Now she knows it's over. She screwed up. She had her nose buried in the phone. All right, let's watch it one more time. Here we go. Full motion. He's singing sexy back or something just like that. And now he's, girl, get your nose out of the phone. And she's like, hey, Justin. He's like, nope. There you go. That's it. That's cool. Let that be a lesson to all you little leaguers out there. Get your noses out of the damn phone, okay? Get your noses out of the damn phone. Sorry. No, it wasn't a fart or anything like that. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Keep going. The Department of Justice has released their yearly list of the most dangerous cities in America. Let's go through the list, shall we? Let's look and see where Chicago, my hometown. I mean, I know it's probably number one, right? Right, fellow Fox viewers, right? Probably without a doubt for like the millionth year in a row, Chicago's the most dangerous city in America. Okay, let me remind you one more time that Chicago has never been the most dangerous city in America. In fact, it's never been in the top 10. And it's consistently rated somewhere in the middle. But you just keep listening to your Fox News and all of that. Those were all narratives about the city that were created in a time when that city had given the world both Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. So, you know, you were lied to, but still, just keep going around thinking it's like goddamn Beirut, okay? You just keep thinking that. Let's look at the actual list. Safest cities in America list, unsafest cities in America list, okay? So at the very top of this list, these are the top 200 cities. Here's how they did it. Okay, I don't care about that. Okay, so I'm going to give you the top 10 safest cities in America, okay? Here are the top 10 safest cities in America. City is defined as having more than 100,000 people in it. They also factored in 15 of America's largest cities. So the 15 largest cities are all represented here as well, so we'll see that. But also, the cutoff is 100,000. So cities of 100,000 or more. Number 10, safest city in America, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Number 9, safest city in America, Portland, Maine. Ain't nobody getting into nothing in Portland, Maine. Syrup theft? What is that? Is that the big thing? Number 8, safest city in America, Columbia, Maryland? Columbia, Maryland. I don't know. Number 7, safest city in America. Here's one. Shout out for Jeff Ballard. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Number 7, safest big city in America. See, it's considered a big city. Number 6, this is amazing. Number 6, safest city in America is Yonkers, New York. Yonkers, New York. You guys know Yonkers is like its own city, but it's like attached to the city of New York. It's like the first like city or what. It's close, is my point. The son of Sam lived in Yonkers. That's that's surprising to me that Yonkers would rank as the 6th safest city in America. Boise, here we go, top 5. Boise, Idaho. You saw an Idaho coming, right? Burlington, Vermont. You probably could have seen that one coming too. Warwick, Rhode Island is number 3. Casper, Wyoming is number 2. And the number 1 safest city in America with a population over 100,000. And by the way, this place probably is barely over 100,000. It just made the cut. Safest city in America, South Burlington, Vermont. South Burlington, Vermont. All right, now let's go to the absolute bottom of the list, and let's find the unsafest. All right. Now, I know I was joking about Chicago, how it has never been for the last 5 years, the most dangerous city in America has been St. Louis. It's been St. Louis. Sorry. It's been St. Louis, Little Rock, or Memphis. It's been some combination of those. But those are year in and year out for the past 5 years. While you're all walking around going, Chicago's like Beirut, it's not even in the top 10 of those cities. But here we go. Let's do the top 10 least safe cities in America, okay? No St. Louis this year. St. Louis is not the winner of this unwanted trophy. The number 1 most dangerous city in America for 2024 is Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis. The number 2 most dangerous city in America for 2024 is Detroit, Michigan. The number 3 most dangerous city in America, probably about to get a lot more dangerous in the coming days, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The number 4 most dangerous city in America, coming in at 179 on this list. Number 4 most dangerous, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And then look at this. Is this what number is this? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What was that? That was one. Because I'm going from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. The number 5 most dangerous city in America, following up on Baton Rouge, New Orleans. The number 6 most dangerous city in America, Baltimore, Maryland. The number 7th most dangerous city in America, Cleveland, Ohio. The number 8 most dangerous city in America, Oakland, California. Is that number 8? Number 9 most dangerous city in America, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the 10th most dangerous city in America, coming in at number 173 on this list, San Bernardino, California. So there you have it. Those are your safest and those are your least safe. Just missing out on the list, remember, the number 10th most dangerous city in America was San Bernardino, California, and it came in at 173. Houston is 171. Houston, 171. At this point, the higher the number, the worse you are. Houston is at 171. Washington, D.C. is at 172. Dallas, Texas, 166. 166. Dallas, Texas is in between Jackson, Mississippi at 167 and Atlanta, Georgia at 165. So Dallas is one more dangerous than Atlanta and one less than more dangerous than Jackson, Mississippi. Dallas is 166. So where's Chicago? I know Chicago's number 1. It's always number 1, and it doesn't matter what the facts are. Somebody's going to say that Chicago's number 1, even though I'm already in the 150s and I haven't seen Chicago yet. Akron, there's Buffalo. There we go. Look at that. Number 139. 139. Like a million safer than Dallas is Chicago. Chicago's 139. Guess what 138 is? Guess what Chicago is just a little bit more dangerous than right now? Chicago's just a little bit more dangerous than Austin, Texas at 138. Austin, Texas is 138. Chicago is 139. Buffalo, New York, 140. Buffalo, New York is one more dangerous, according to violent crime statistics, than the city of Chicago. All right, now let's see. Let's look for some places around here. Number 132, Garland, Texas. Garland, Texas comes in as the 132nd safest city in America. San Antonio is 129. New York City, New York comes in at 123. It is the 123rd safest city in America. Fort Worth, Texas comes in at 121. Fort Worth is the 121st safest city in America. What else do we have? Where's Plano? See if we can find Plano, Texas. Corpus Christi is 110. I'm just going to randomly shout out the Texas ones as we see them. Arlington, Texas. Look at you. Arlington, Texas, 100. Arlington, Texas is the 100th safest big city in America. Arlington. There we go. Number 91, Plano, Texas. Plano, Texas is in the top 100 safest cities in America, and that is pretty good. All right, there you have it. There are your big safe cities. for 2024, your most dangerous. So, look, anybody comes and tells you some bullshit about, well, Chicago's the most dangerous, you just say, yeah, it's like 100 spots removed from Memphis, Tennessee, which is the actual most dangerous city in America right now. So screw you people, you fucking little molded clay minds from Fox News going around spouting off shit you don't know anything about. Looking at you, Barney. Look at you, Barney. Barney's one of those guys that I imagine thinks that Chicago is just bullets flying everywhere. Dallas is more dangerous than Chicago, according to the 2024 crime statistics as published by Department of Justice. And compiled, if I'm being honest, by wallet.com. It was a joint venture between the United States Department of Justice and wallet.gov or wallet.com. All right, how about this one? Serial killer states. How about this one? This is another story. This is good. What states produce the most serial killers? Now, I know off the top of my head, I would have gone all in on Wisconsin as being the number one state, but then you think, well, wait, there's not that many people in Wisconsin. My second vote would be for Texas. I'd be like, Texas probably has more serial killers because there's more people. And, we're a serial killing type in Texas. I'm just telling you. Anyway, no, I was wrong on both accounts. The 7 states that produce the most serial killers has been compiled. And if you thought Florida was one of them, well, yeah, you're right. Florida's a big player in the world of serial killers. Where's the actual list? Let me see. Number 1, the number 1 state in the United States for serial killers, Alaska. And it makes sense because if you're such a social pariah that you just, you need to go away. And you want to stay America because you're a patriot. You want to stay because, we're all very proud to be patriots and all that. So you go to Alaska. That makes sense. You go to Alaska. Number 2, biggest state for serial killers, Nevada. All right. I could probably see that. I could see that. Nevada, desert. A lot of places to get lost, a lot of places to put bodies, Nevada is number 2 in the list of serial killers. Number 3, well, you knew this was coming, Florida. Florida's a good one. Number 4 is California. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people in California living on top of each other, just a bunch of weirdos. Everybody goes to California thinking it's like Oz. A lot of people with broken hearts and disappointment and shattered dreams. And yeah, there you go, serial killer. That is a good place for serial killers. California comes in at number 4. Number 5 is Washington, not Washington, D.C., the state of Washington. Now, this is where the West Coast goes on a really nice run here. If there was a region of America that produces the most serial killers, well, there's no doubt about it. It is the West Coast. It is the Pacific Coast region. Nobody else can even... I mean, we just had California, right, as number 4 most state that produces the most serial killers. Now we got Washington. The state of Washington is the number 5 state that produces the most serial killers. Oregon comes in at number 6, right? Now we just need, right? Don't we just need one more? Do we need one more? I don't think we need one more. I don't know. Louisiana comes in at number 7. Louisiana. That's it. It's Louisiana at number 7, and then the entire West Coast at 6, 5, and 4, being Oregon, Washington, and California. Then for serial killers, you go to Florida at 3, Nevada at 2, and number 1 is, of course, Alaska. Isn't that fun, guys? Then we just learned something. Look at us. We just learned all about serial killers. So today, when you lay your head down on the pillow, you'll go to sleep knowing something that you didn't know yesterday. And maybe that thing will be that Alaska is the number 1 state for serial killers. Let's see here. Adam says he never felt unsafe in Chicago. Yeah, most people don't. Most people who aren't pussies don't. Most people who have been places don't. But it's the people who don't go anywhere. They're the ones that think that it's something else. But all right. Jeff Ballard breaking bet on Cedar Rapids. He's saying that Cedar Rapids was one of the safer cities, I thought, Jeff. Jeff's saying, well, blah, blah. I'm like, well, pound for pound, I'm just telling you. As far as convictions and violent crimes and all that kind of stuff, the Department of Gov, well, you can't believe that. Oh, here we are, not believing anything anymore. Can't say that to anything. Like this. You want to know what a construct is? It's 2:00. We've been doing this show for 2 hours. It's 2:00. The show is over. That's a construct. Doesn't have to be over, but we just all play along with the idea that it is. I'm out of stuff to talk about. My God, am I tired. I got so much to do today. I've got to have... Okay, so I can't tell you guys about that. But I will say this. Thank you all so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, right here at the beautiful E-Gallery Studios, the Kelly Moore Memorial Studio here at the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's Design District. I am Pugs Moran. We are RadioMisfits.com for all of your cool-ass podcast needs. And as I say, coming soon... the latest offering from Pugs and Ed. We're going to do our soap podcast. I'm also, trust me when I tell you, got something else going on here. All right. IndyCar race announced for Arlington in 2026. What? What is that? What is that? There's going to be an open-wheeled... Is it a street race in Arlington? That would be awesome. Gonna be a lot of road construction because let me tell you, Texas roads aren't good. A lot of potholes. You know, it's the no taxes thing. It's like, we don't pay taxes. Yeah, but your roads fucking suck. But whatever. Let me see about this story. I'm just gonna Google search Arlington IndyCar race. I'm unfamiliar with this story. Unique Partnerships presents, this was yesterday, IndyCar GP of Arlington confirmed for 2026. Well, that's a long time to wait. What is this going to be? 2026, you need that time to fix the roads in Arlington. They redid every road in Las Vegas, and they still had problems with dips and porpoising and all that kind of stuff. One car even crashed because it hit metal that was on a sewer that was supposed to have been removed. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. Oh, no, wait. Maybe that was the NASCAR race in Chicago. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Dallas News going to make me sign up for something if I want to read this. Yeah, they sure are. Ugh. All right, I'll use Google. I will sign up and I will use Google. Dallas wants to... Nope. I don't want you showing me notifications. Hold on, guys. See what this story is. That's a good add-on, Chris. I didn't know about this story, but I love open wheel racing. And I love Arlington. So look at me. Look at me. Two things I love. IndyCar Grand Prix taking over the streets of Arlington for 2026 event. The 2.73-mile track for the event will feature both Globe Life Field and AT&T Stadium. Yeah, I can see that. This is the new area, right? This is okay. They're not going through like the neighborhoods. They're not going to like race past Pantera's house, right? This is going to be at AT&T Stadium. That beautiful area, man. That's like a mini Vegas. This makes sense. I can totally see that. Those roads are new. They were put together well because of tourism dollars and all that kind of stuff. That's not just some shit neighborhood that was thrown together for a bunch of people who are just going to live here their whole lives. No, that's for tourists. So the infrastructure, that's good. They probably even thought of this kind of thing being a possibility back when they were laying that out. That area looks like a mini Las Vegas. I mean, if you squint. Arlington's crowded sporting landscape is going to wedge in yet another championship caliber venue. Best feature, this one won't cost taxpayers a penny. Turns out the streets are already there. A joint venture between Penske Entertainment, the Rangers, and the Cowboys will bring the IndyCar Grand Prix of Arlington to weave through streets around Globe Life Field and AT&T Stadium in March. Just a few months before the FIFA World Cup invades the city. Man, Arlington is becoming the shit, isn't it? Arlington is really... Man, oh man, make my friend JD proud. More information will be shared Tuesday during a news conference. It says, we are truly thankful to our partners for their vision and dedication to bringing the Indigo. All right, here's the problem with this. I mean, because let's be honest. Racing is hot right now, but not IndyCar racing. IndyCar racing ain't hot. NASCAR has always had its presence in this country. Certainly here in Texas, NASCAR is king. Indy has made certain inroads with the Texas Motor Speedway races going back 20 years now. But it never really caught on. IndyCar racing, you can't name me like who's like the biggest name in IndyCar racing. Paul Dano, no, he died years ago. F1. F1 is like the really hot, trendy thing. So I don't know. Like imagine F1 was coming to they did it with a Netflix show. That's what Indy needs to do. Indy needs to make there needs to be a Netflix version for Indy cars because people who like myself who found themselves completely caught up in the theatrics of Drive to Survive, which is the Netflix reality show about F1 drivers. It's the reason I'm an F1 nut now. We're like 5 years later, and I'm like, I love F1. It's like my favorite sport. They need to do that for IndyCar racing. IndyCar racing until... Well, when was the breakup? When was the breakup between IRL and IndyCar? Like there were two circuits that were going side by side. So what was that, like the mid-90s? Before that, IndyCar racing was, at least to my understanding, it was the biggest form of racing in America. It was before NASCAR had truly popped nationally. NASCAR was a regional sport. We didn't get a lot of NASCAR up in Illinois. We didn't see a whole bunch of it. Maybe ABC, Wide World of Sports showed a NASCAR race, but it wasn't really a thing. That popped in the 90s, late 90s, boom, NASCAR became the biggest thing going. But before that, it was IndyCar racing. It was Mario Andretti. It was Roger Penske. It was AJ Foyt. It was Al Unser. It was a thing. And then it just disappeared. And that was because of the breakup between the George family, I think, is who did it. They broke up into two leagues and whatever. It doesn't matter. IndyCar racing has never really come back. And now, because of the last 5 or 6 years of Netflix forcing F1 down everybody's throat, people look at open wheel racing as being F1. They don't think, you look at an F1 car and you look at an Indy car and they look almost exactly the same to somebody who, doesn't watch a lot of it. They are different. Like I can tell you the difference between an F1 and an Indy car, but they're the same kind of cars. So why hasn't Indy caught on? I don't know. Maybe we need a reality show. I think there is one. I think I did see like an IndyCar reality show and I went, oh, this is so desperate. And I didn't watch it. So maybe everything that I just said is bullshit. My back hurts. So that's very cool. That is very cool. Let me see. Are they going to show the track? What is this? All right, here we go. Yeah, we got video of the Arlington track. Okay, this will be cool. Looks like IndyCar unveils layout for Arlington track. Here we go. Let's watch this. Very cool. We got the dead people been up all show? What the hell, you guys? I'm an idiot. Here we go. All right, here we go. This is the Indy promotional video for the upcoming 2026 Arlington, Texas street course. Where is this? All right, we got to try to figure out where is this. So is this right outside AT&T? Yeah, these are these crazy walkways that I hate. All right. Look at that, man. That area of Arlington right now, that shit was never there before. I mean, I know it's been the process of over about 10 years that's been all built up. That is gorgeous. And at night, everything is neon and lit up. It is like Vegas. Man, this is going to be badass. That meets the Pugs seal of approval. The Grand Prix of Arlington coming in 2026. Thank you for producing on the fly there, Chris. That was good. All right. Guys, that's it. I gave you 10 bonus minutes. I love y'all. You have yourself a great weekend, okay? Not weekend. What am I talking about? I mean, have yourself a great night. Have yourself tomorrow we got hurricane stuff we got to deal with. We got hurricane stuff we got to deal with tomorrow. Maybe we get a war that breaks out tonight, but other than that, we'll rally back here. See you back here tomorrow at noon. All right, that's going to do it. Once again, from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district, we are Radio Misfits Dallas. Find us, radiomisfits.com. See you tomorrow at noon. Bye.